Hello class, my name is Michelle Adler and this is my PowerPoint presentation on the history of career guidance. First of all, I'm going to explain the table of contents. There's the introduction to career guidance. Next will be the history of career guidance. Third will be the constructivist approach. Fourth, the narrative approach. And the last one will be the relational approach. And then the references at the end. Introduction to career guidance. So, what is career counseling? Career counseling is where career counseling focuses on career exploration, personal career development, and career change, and other issues pertaining to career-related issues. Some examples are helping college students prepare for the future. For example, if they don't know what field they want to go into pertaining to career, we need to help the college students find that. A career counselor would do that by assessment, seeing what their interests are and their abilities. Next, helping clients obtain needed career skills. If we see that they don't have those career skills, we're going to educate them and get them to the next level. So if they need continuing education, we would refer them on for classes and so forth. And transitions in career. Maybe somebody is, they're going to retire, but they want to do something else as their career. We would see what they're interested in. Next slide. Who gives career counseling? Career counselors give clients career counseling, but I want to emphasize that there are counselors in different fields, and they will give career counseling as respect to, for example, there's the social workers, people in human resources, and also in the psychology field. So all these different fields are able to give career counseling. What do career counselors offer to clients? They offer high quality support for clients' career questions. They help adolescents and older adults. So in what settings is career counseling offered? It can be in an individual setting, group setting, through digital communication. Since the latest thing is technology in the 21st century, some people opt for digital communication. Next slide. I'm going to begin to go ahead and discuss the history and career counseling. So who is the historical figure for career counseling? And this is very important to this presentation, so please pay attention to this figure. His name is Frank Parsons, and he's recognized as the father of vocational guidance. He lived from 1854 to 1908. He's very well educated as an engineer, a professor, and a lawyer. He wrote articles on social reform pertaining to women's suffrage, taxation, and education. He published Choosing a Vocation in 1909. And what I want to say about Frank Parsons and other details pertaining to him is that besides him being so skilled as an engineer and as a lawyer and a professor, what he's mainly recognized for is for helping individuals make occupational and career choices. This is very important to the presentation. And a little bit more history I'm going to say on Frank Parsons that I did find on him is there was this lady named Miss Quincy Agassiz Shaw, and she was a philanthropist. She created the Civic Service House in Boston. So what happened was she created that Civic Service House in Boston, which provided opportunities to immigrants and young persons seeking work. This is where Parsons comes into play. Parsons, in 1905, became one of the directors of one of the Civic Service House's programs, and this became known as the Breadwinners Institute. He later organized the Bureau of Vocational Guidance. He used the Bureau to train young men to be counselors and managers of YMCA schools, colleges, and businesses. Years later, the school committee of Boston created the first counselor certification program. And then later, which is very interesting that I learned, is the program was later picked up by Harvard University, and this became the first college-based counselor education program. So, in essence, Frank Parsons played a crucial role for creating, the vocational counseling and how career counseling, for example, counseling got started in the first place and even got recognized by the educational institutions such as Boston and Harvard University. Next slide. Again, on the history of career counseling, Frank Parsons developed the framework that helps individuals decide on a career, which includes helping the client understand themselves, aptitudes, abilities, interests, resources, limitations, and other qualities. See, through assessing him, he finds out more about them and interviewing them. Like, what are they interested in? Would they like art? Would they like music? Would they like science? Or what are they limited in? What are they not so good in? Maybe they're not good in math, or maybe it's not science. And other qualities that the client may have pertaining to career. So another thing is understand the knowledge of requirements and conditions of success. Also, this includes advantages, disadvantages, compensations, opportunities, and prospects in a different line of work. So this right here that Parsons is emphasizing is dealing with what's required to get to the next level. Does the person need to go back to college? Do they need to go to continuing education to meet the requirements to get to that goal that they want to reach, which is the career? Next slide. The last of the framework pertaining to Parsons is putting the two groups of facts that I just explained to you for the individual to reflect through true reasoning. Like, they have everything in front of them now. They were assessed, they know what they're interested in, they know the advantages and disadvantages of a certain career and what's required to get to that career as far as education requirements. So they're putting this together to true reason to say, okay, is this something I want to go into? Next, Parsons believed that career choices were based on matching personal traits such as aptitude, abilities, resources, and personality. These personal traits were combined with job factors regarding wages, environment, and etc. to produce the best conditions for career success. So by assessing their personality, for example, and their aptitude, abilities, you can kind of see, okay, what job would they kind of be good at, or I think they'd be, best fit for this, according to their assessment and their interests, because you're looking at this and studying it and saying, okay, this is what I think they'd be good in. Now let me introduce it to them and see if they'd be interested in one of these options pertaining to career. And lastly, Parsons' framework later became known as the trait factor theory for career development. Next slide. Constructivist Approach. I'm going to explain the background on Constructivist Approach. Constructivist approach is derived from postmodernism. George Kelly is the father of cognitive clinical psychology and is known for his personality theory, constructivism. He was an American psychologist. So constructivism is how a client views reality, which may be altered by the way they view things through their personal thought. It deals with what relationships they have and how they create those views. So basically, it's how the person views things according to their beliefs and backgrounds. They're going to see things differently than we do. And sometimes we may see things the same, a balance, but everybody is different. So we got to understand that according to their views and what they've experienced they're going to see things a certain way pertaining to career, right? So, two ways of constructing one's view of the world: constructivism and social construction. Next slide. Social constructivism is how the individual interprets the world through interactions with others. It could be peers, coworkers, family. It's how they interpret things and how they interact with them. And Scherf 2010 states, Kelly believed that personal constructs are the ways that individuals interpret and view their lives, and the individual's careers are a major means of giving their lives role and clarity and meaning. So basically, the personal constructs of what they're interpreting and how they view it, this all going towards, career is like, the purpose, the meaning of it, what it means to them. And here's the next citation. Bridges 2010 states, as a postmodern theoretical position, constructivism holds the personal meaning, making systems of clients central to understanding how they interpret their world and respond to life events. So the way that they see things and what it means to them is important to how they understand things and how they interpret and see things worldly. Next slide. Narrative approach. I'm going to discuss the background on narrative approach. Next slide. Two constructivist approaches to career counseling are narrative approach and career construction approach. The psychologist named Cochrane is significant concerning narrative approach. Narrative approach is the individual telling their story about their career concerning their views and experiences to the counselor. So the client narrates what happens in their career, in their life, little life story. And you get to elaborate on that and kind of see what issues they have. And then the career construction approach is the integration of the theories that utilizes the narrative approach that includes assessment and career counseling. Sophikus is the significant figure for career construction theory. So career construction approach integrates other theories along with the narrative approach, taking assessment and career counseling. So seeing a range of things. Whereas when it's just narrative approach, it's just narration of their story. And it's pretty interesting because career construction approach, if you get to integrate different theories, you get to see a wide range of, different things according to the client, I think. Which is interesting. Next slide. Cochrane's approach has 7 episodes in career counseling with the narrative approach. The first one is elaborating a career problem. You gotta elaborate on what issues they're having, elaborate to the client. Number 2, compose a life story. You need to compose a life story on the client to understand where they're coming from, what they've experienced. 3, eliciting a future narrative. Creating, a future narrative or possible scenario of what career they would have. Reality construction. What do they see realistically as a career, or can they develop that? Help them, see it realistically. Changing a life structure. Maybe they need to change something in their lives to get to the next level. Maybe they have something that may be hindering them from getting there. We need to point it out to them. Enacting a role. They need to enact a role. What role they are pertaining to their career and how it is and means to them and importance and such. And crystallizing a decision. Let them come to a decision, come to terms what career they choose. Next slide. Carl 2002 states, narratives allow for the inclusion of the themes that other methods may not capture, but are important aspects of the sense of self or identity as it relates to race, ethnicity, and gender. So narratives, they include, how it explains other themes and methods, but they are, they need to be important as far as where the person comes from, because race, ethnicity, and gender is very important, especially when you're assessing a client. You need to know them as a person, where they come from, to understand them and what issues they've experienced and understand their beliefs. Next, narratives can exclude present, past, and possible future experiences clients will have. It's very important to as explained before, the whole narration as far as present, past, future experiences are concerned, because we need to really know where we need to help the client, and this is very important. Next slide. And I'm going to explain the relational approach and the background on the relational approach. Okay, so the psychologist Phillips and her colleagues are known for a relational approach. Skolthesis and Palladino, 2003, state, relational theory provides a conceptual framework that facilitates a more complete contextual understanding of the interdependence of our lives with those closest to us. So basically, relational theory is who's important to you. Family, colleagues, co-workers, what kind of influence do they have on your life pertaining to decisions? And as I was saying, the relational model takes into account the client's siblings, friends, teachers, peers, and others. These are the types of relationships an individual has and how they can affect their career development. For example, if somebody, like a child, looks up to their parent and they really admire or honor what they do as a career, maybe they might grow up to do that. For example, if the mother's a teacher and the child really admires that, they might become a teacher. Then again, we need to be careful to really assess the client and make sure that's what they're going to be happy, satisfied, and interested in. Next, there are two major themes pertaining to relational approach, which are actions of others and self-directedness. Next slide. I'm going to explain and define actions of others and self-directedness. Actions of others are 7 ways people involve themselves in the career decision-making of others, right? And then next, self-directedness is 8 ways people can find other people to help them in the career decision-making. So I'm going to go ahead and discuss what's included within actions of others, and it includes non-active support, and that's where the person is not involved in the decision making in making the choice process. Next one, unconditional support. Person feels decision maker is making a good decision. So for example, the counselor thinks the client is doing a good job on what they decide they want to do as a career. Next, information provided. The counselor provides information to the decision maker. So let's say the counselor provides certain information pertaining to a career, and the client has to decide, okay, what exactly do I want to do for the rest of my life pertaining to career? Next one, alternatives provided. Provide career-related opportunities. Next one, push nudge is an attempt to guide an individual in a career direction. So you're just trying to get them on the right path as far as their career is concerned. The next one is forced guidance under actions of others, offering suggestions without considering the desires of the decision maker. So this is something we have to be careful with, because you don't really, we're learning it, and it's part of the counseling curriculum, but as far as forced guidance, we have to be careful, because falling under ethics, I would say we need to be careful with this one. We need to respect their beliefs and their wishes and kind of let the client make their own decision. And number 7, the last one, criticism, tells a person what to do and criticizes them. We need to be professional. If this were to be done, it has to be done professionally, and it would be corrective criticism. Like, present it in a helpful way. If they have a limitation, don't make them feel offended or less. And next, I'm gonna talk about self-directed, the 8 ways that people can find other people to help them in their career decision making, which includes confident independence. This is false confidence. Individuals act confident but have not planned for the future. This could be like people, teenagers maybe, perhaps, for example, don't know what they want to go into yet, and we have to give them that career guidance. The number 2, unsuccessful recruitment. Individual, they know they need help but haven't been able to get a good assistance. So that's where we come in and we help them and give them what services are available, lead them in the right direction. Next, insecure use of others. They seek advice of others but unsure of ability to make decisions. This we have to watch because you want a client to become as independent as possible pertaining to making their career choice. Next one, cautious under self-directedness. Very careful not to make mistakes in decision making. And the next one, seeking information about self. Unsure about interests, abilities, or values. Seek out others for the perspective. Now, if we see a client that's unsure, we definitely need to get them on the right track as far as their career is concerned, because in the end, they need to be satisfied when they're working in their career. And number 6, weighing options. Ask others to help in one or more parts of decision-making process. As far as the career process, they should be very open-minded and outspoken and try to reach out to others. That way they know they're in the right path. If it's not to a friend, maybe a family member, somebody they're more confident with. Number 7, sounding board. Taking out one's point of view with others. So they would basically see their point of view with other people's. And lastly, number 8 under self-directedness is systematic, which is individuals consider the input of others, but take responsibility for their own career decision making. I feel that systematic is what you want the client to aim at, because they consider, the information from other people, but you want them to take the responsibility of making their own career decision making. And that's what we're here for, to see that they head in the right direction and pursue what they want as their career, so they're satisfied. I want to say that this is the end of my presentation. I appreciate you listening to my presentation and being present. Everybody have a great day, and I'll end my presentation with the references, and God bless all of you. Take care. Bye.